Welcome to Mic Check TV Nashville, and I am your girl, Jonique, and I am here with Mrs. Tameshia Martin, who is a speech pathologist here in Nashville, Tennessee. How are you?
I'm doing well, Cole. How are you?
I am good.
Good.
We love to have our local professionals on the show here, especially when you're doing so many other things. It's so cool to see professionals that are still living their passion, living their life, and just enjoying what they do. So tell me about being a speech pathologist.
I have been a speech language pathologist now for about 9.5 years. I started out working in the school system. I did that for about 3 years. And I have been in long-term care / skilled nursing for about the past 6.5 years.
Okay, so you working in the school system, what age group did you work with?
Kindergarten through 7th grade.
So the important years.
8th grade. Kindergarten through 8th grade.
Okay, so those are the important years, you know, when kids are learning their voices and learning to speech and English and everything. So that's good.
Language skills are developing. Yeah.
So you said you work with the older generation.
I am currently working with the geriatric population, which is my passion. I love that population. In that population, mostly I still work with speech and language deficits, more so on the cognitive side of it. Let's just say someone has had maybe a stroke or something of that nature and they're not functioning as they were before the stroke. Then my job is to go in and to provide treatment services to try to get them back to prior level of function.
So I'm sure that's rewarding also.
Very.
Especially helping them get back to their prior state of their injury or whatever issue that they had that they were going through.
Yeah.
So that's pretty nice.
It's a lot of fun, a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the swallowing side of speech pathology. We have recently, for my current employer, we recently they opened a tracheostomy and mechanical ventilation unit.
Okay, now tell us about that. You have to say that name for me one more time.
Tracheostomy and mechanical ventilation. Mechanical ventilation is it's life support.
Okay.
And it's just for, you know, whatever setting it's on, it just helps them to breathe. So that's a new unit that they've opened. My job as a speech pathologist and working with those patients is to try to make sure that the swallow is safe and to give them a voice.
Wow. So you're pretty much working with someone that's starting all the way over learning to talk and speak with their injury or the trach?
They can talk. The thing is that the trach, we use what they call a Passenger speaking valve to put on the end of the trach, which creates, it's a one-way valve, and it creates pressure in order for them to be able to get air up through their vocal folds in order to be able to speak.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what made you want to get into this profession?
Always really been interested in healthcare, but I'm not really fond of blood. Before I even started to go into getting this degree, I worked as an ER admissions clerk at Baptist Hospital in my hometown. And there was just so many scary things that came in, just blood and guts and all that. And I just decided that I wanted to be in healthcare, but not that side. But I'd get as close as I could possibly and not cross the line. So that's why I'm a speech pathologist.
So what has been the most extensive case that you've had being a speech pathologist that you've had to help someone restore?
I would have to say silent aspiration is the one thing that scares me the most, and I'll tell you what it is. Aspiration is where food and liquid goes below the level of the vocal folds and has the potential to cause pneumonia.
Oh, wow.
The pneumonia is caused by the bacteria in your mouth that mixes with the food and liquid that actually goes into your lungs and can make you sick. When you, the body's natural response to something going in your airway, foreign, is to cough it out. But some people don't cough. It goes into their lungs silently, and we don't even know it. And I've had a case where I've been feeding, you know, doing swallowing therapy and giving a person trials of different types of things, and these things are going into his lungs. And so now we're doing exercises to help to try to strengthen his swallow so that he may be, able to go back and.
Wow.
Yeah. So that probably is the scariest thing that I've come into contact with.
Ooh. So now, the thing that we love here at Mic Check TV is we like to highlight our professionals, and you do so many other things. How do you find time to live a normal life on top of being a speech pathologist and doing all the other things you do?
I just make time. It's not an easy thing. It is not. It's actually very hard. It's very complicated. You just have to structure it so that it works for you. One of my favorite quotes is, speech pathology is my hustle. Acting is my passion. I love everything about acting, and if I can ever fit it into my schedule or I get a role doing something, I will make it work with my profession and then do that on the side. So it's a task, but it can happen.
So what would you tell for our young listeners who are in the process of figuring out a profession that might be interested in being a speech pathologist, but may be a little apprehensive about going into the profession thinking it's going to be challenging where they can't live like a regular life and pursue the hustle? What would you say to them?
The one thing that I would definitely say is make sure that you always shadow a speech pathologist in whatever setting it is that you think you want to do long term. And always, the textbook is not, you get the majority of what you're gonna get hands on. So don't think a textbook is going to give you all that you need to be able to go suffice in the world, because it's not. It's not.
Just like life.
Just like life.
Well, I'm so glad that you have come on the show, and I'm so happy that I got to talk to you and meet with you. I think you are awesome. And this is my professional sister right here.
It has been a pleasure.
I love what you do. You're multi-talented. I love it. And we're so glad to have her here on the show, Mic Check TV Nashville. And I hope we can get you back on to talk about some of the other things that you do.
Sure, anytime.
I'm your girl, Jonique, and this is Mrs. Tameshia Martin, speech pathologist here in Nashville, Tennessee. And that is a wrap.